22 News Broadcast Center, this is 22 News in Focus.
Good afternoon and welcome to 22 News in Focus. I'm Taylor Knight. The COVID-19 crisis is impacting all aspects of our lives. Food insecurity has always been an issue for many low-income families, but for people who've lost their jobs, this may be the first time they're struggling to find ways to feed their families. The Food Bank of Western Massachusetts is addressing this issue. They are finding ways to ensure food assistance continues to be provided safely to food insecure households across the region. Joining me today is Christina Maxwell, Director of Programs for the Food Bank of Western Massachusetts. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So what are you hearing from your member organizations that utilize the food bank?
Well, we're hearing from them that they're seeing a lot of people, including a lot of people whom they've never seen before, as you just mentioned, people who may have just lost a job and are needing to reach out for emergency food, perhaps for the first time in their lives. And of course, they're seeing the people who they've always been seeing as well, because those folks are really struggling too. So it's a wide variety of people. And our agencies are working really, really hard to keep up with the demand, but it's been a little bit overwhelming for them.
So overwhelming. Do you have any statistics on the increase in demand for food services, compared to maybe this time last year?
Yeah, so we've seen overall a 27% increase in the amount of food that we're distributing through our network. So that's been a pretty steep increase, and of course it happened right away, all at once. But everybody is adapting. Our agencies have needed to change the way they're doing some of their distributions, and they've made those adaptations, so the food is still flowing pretty freely.
So about how many agencies do you provide food to?
We have 175 member agencies in our network.
And I can imagine you guys are getting a lot of food. Where do you get all this food that you distribute, and are those sources able to keep up with this new increased demand right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, we get approximately half of our food from the government. Both from the federal government and the state government. And those two sources have been fine. We're getting that food delivered as normal. We also typically get a lot of food distributed from the local grocery stores, particularly Big Y and Stop and Shop. And because the shelves in their stores are a little bit emptier than normal, they haven't been able to give us so much food. They have given us cash donations, though, which has been very helpful. And so we're purchasing a fair amount of food, and some of it is coming in and some of it is not. So our food procurement team is working really hard to find vendors who have food available and can get it to us in a timely manner. It's been a big job, but they're doing well at it. So we've got food in our warehouse and it is going out to our agencies.
So do you have enough food right now? Is it lower than it should be? Are you guys concerned right now just because of this such a large increase in demand?
Yeah, we're not concerned right now. There are some products, individual products that we're low on, but overall we have enough food to serve the needs of our agencies at the moment. And we are expecting to be getting some more food within the next several months. So USDA, for example, will be providing us with some additional food that was put in place through some of the relief bills that were just passed by Congress. So we may not see that food until July, but we know that it's coming. So that's helpful for us in our planning.
Great. So as we mentioned before, there's lots of individuals and families who may have never been in this kind of situation. They don't really know where to go for help right now. So what do you suggest they do right now if they might need a little bit of help during this time?
I would suggest that they go to our website. We've got an updated list of all of our member agencies with the hours that they're currently operating. So that's foodbankwma.org. And they can look there, they can search by their zip code if they'd like and find either a food pantry or a meal site that is near them. We also have a number of mobile food banks throughout the region, and those are also listed there. And we run a brown bag program, which is a grocery program for seniors. And those are also listed on that page. So there's a lot of information there. And there's our phone numbers there as well if they have further questions. And I would really encourage people to do that. I know that sometimes it can feel scary if you've never been to a food pantry before. It may feel really strange to need to go there. And I'm afraid that people might not be going because it's so outside of their experience. But I would really encourage people to go. The folks who run our pantries and meal sites are incredibly nice and incredibly generous, and they will welcome you and help you get the help that you need. So I really hope people will do that.
You know, that was sort of my next question, you know, for people who haven't done this could be a little bit, you know, hard mentally. Are your agencies seeing this, and how are they helping people in any ways, you know, trying to get them in the door?
Yeah, they are seeing that, and they're very aware of the fact that a lot of people are coming for the first time and might not be that happy about the fact that they find themselves in this position. But like I said, the people who run and work at our member agencies are incredibly nice and generous. So they will meet you at the door, walk you in, explain the process, tell you exactly what needs to happen. These days, they're having to do that a little bit differently because of social distancing, so they may not meet you physically at the door, but they will be happy to explain the process and get you some food and explain perhaps some other resources that you could reach out to. So if they're not, I would encourage people to go. They will definitely be welcomed with open arms.
Thanks so much, Christina. So what types of food and meal distribution programs are available? We'll find out right after the break. You're watching 22 News in Focus. Today, we're talking about food insecurity during the COVID-19 pandemic with Christina Maxwell, the Director of Programs for the Food Bank of Western Massachusetts. The food bank provides support to many local food pantries, meal sites, shelters, rehab and senior centers, and much more. These organizations are the local frontline food assistance providers that serve people in need. So let's talk about maybe food stamps, applying for those SNAP benefits. What should people do if they're a little bit confused about that right now?
Well, they can call us. They can call the food bank. We've got several staff people who are dedicated to helping people apply for SNAP, which is what we call food stamps now. And so they can walk you through the process, do it over the phone, put in your application for you, and then follow up with you as the process goes through. You can also call DTA, the Department of Transitional Assistance, directly, or go online and apply online directly. But sometimes the process is a little bit confusing, so I think it's really great if people call us and have an ally who can get them through that process a little bit easier. So I would encourage people to do that.
Who should consider going about and applying for SNAP benefits, food stamps?
Really, anybody who has recently lost their job should consider applying. Even if people have applied before and been turned down, it's entirely possible now that your income situation has changed that they might be eligible for SNAP now. Certainly people with children in the house, elders, really everybody who is struggling to put food on their table and could use a little bit of extra money to make that happen should apply. The worst that's going to happen is they're going to say no. So I would really encourage people to apply. And if there's been a change in income, for example, if people currently receive SNAP but have lost a job or have had reduced hours, if they get in touch with the Department of Transitional Assistance, it's entirely possible that they might get an increase in their benefit to try to make up for the loss of income that they've just suffered.
So what about women who might be pregnant, have little kids? Tell us about WIC, and is that a good option right now for this kind of family?
Absolutely. So the Women, Infants, and Children program, WIC, is intended for pregnant women and families with children up to the age of 5. So they're still operating. They're doing a lot of their work over the phone. And so I would definitely encourage people who fall into those categories to reach out to WIC and talk with them. They're able to provide food. They're able to provide information and coaching. It's a pretty hands-on program. So I would definitely encourage people to apply for WIC as well.
All right, switching gears here a little bit. We know those non-food items, toilet paper, paper towels, those are just flying off the shelves right now. Are you guys able to provide these things right now?
No. The short answer is no. We would really love to be able to provide those things. We're looking for them. We're trying to purchase them so that we can pass them along to our member agencies. But right now, we have not been able to acquire any of those items in any numbers at all. So we'll keep looking, but we haven't been able to provide those items like we would like to be able to.
All right, so local meal pantries, they're still operating. We kind of touched on this a little bit. What are they doing to keep people safe, to practice that social distancing, all that?
Yeah, most of our agencies have changed the way they distribute their food in order to make the process safer. Many of them are doing their distributions outdoors now. They're definitely practicing social distancing between the staff and volunteers. And when clients come in, they're maintaining social distancing between the clients and themselves as well. Many of them have moved to pre-packing bags of food rather than letting people choose what they would like to have, which is what many of them normally do. Now they're simply pre-packing a bag, and in many cases are putting it right in the trunk of a car, or they're putting it on a table and somebody comes up and takes the bag off the table, so as to limit any contact between individuals. It's not really how most of our agencies like to operate, but they're doing a very good job adapting to the reality right now and being able to serve people in a way that's safe for everybody.
So maybe in one of those prepackaged bags, what would it include?
Well, it would vary quite a lot, really, from one agency to another, but it will include some shelf-stable products, perhaps rice or pasta, maybe some spaghetti sauce, some beans, some vegetables, canned or frozen vegetables, fruit packs for kids, often peanut butter. We normally have a lot of tuna fish. We're a little bit low on that right now. And then produce. We distribute quite a lot of produce through our member agencies. Much of it is local. And so they are still giving out produce, so people will often find that in their bags as well.
So the food bank has a mobile food bank. Has the coronavirus impacted this at all?
It has. We've had to change how we distribute food at our mobile food bank as well. Normally, we put all of the food out and people come through the line. They walk along and put items into their bag as they go. But we've changed to pre-packing those bags as well. So people come, they stand in line 6 feet apart from each other and come up and get a bag of food, and then they're asked to leave right away. Sometimes these distributions can become quite social, but we're asking people not to stay around and chat, but just to move away from the area.
Changing everything in our lives. All right, thank you, Christina. We'll continue our conversation after this break. You're watching 22 News in Focus. 22 News in Focus. Today we're talking about food insecurity and programs for people in need with Christina Maxwell. She's the Director of Programs for the Food Bank of Western Massachusetts. The Food Bank of Western Massachusetts is competing with other food banks and organizations for supplies right now. So how are you advocating for funding from state and federal governments?
So we've been advocating for funding from both the state and the federal government. And there has been some federal support that is coming due to some of the recent packages that Congress has passed. And on the state level, we get a tremendous amount of support from the state in an ongoing basis. And we're really grateful for that, but we could use some additional support right now. So in conjunction with the other 3 food banks in the state of Massachusetts, we're working on getting some increased funding in the next couple of months to help us acquire some more food.
So how do you go about doing that?
We talk to our legislators. Here in Western Mass, we're really blessed to have a wonderful legislative delegation. They're incredibly supportive of the work that we do, and they understand why it's so important. And especially right now, they understand that people are really struggling and need some additional help. So they've been more than happy to talk with us and to represent our needs on Beacon Hill. And we're going to hope to get some additional funding in the next supplemental budget.
So besides the state and the federal government, who are your partners in getting this food and the funding? Is anyone else that you're working with?
Yeah, well, we get a lot of funding from individuals who make donations to us, and we're always so grateful for that. We get funding from grants, foundations, and other organizations that give us money to operate. And as I mentioned, we get a lot of our donations from Stop and Shop, Big Y, and other grocers in the area. And we also get a lot of donations from local farmers, which allow us to distribute a lot of produce every year. We distribute about 1 million pounds of local produce a year, which is about a third of all of the produce that we distribute. So we're really grateful to our local farmers to be able to help us do that.
That's amazing. So what about your new partnership with Wellspring Harvest?
Yeah, so they're going to be donating lettuce to us that they're growing in Springfield. So we're looking forward to receiving that. And I know that it will be well received by people who are visiting pantries to get that food.
Being able to have fresh produce like that in a time like this for families who aren't used to this, I mean, that's got to be amazing. It's not just, the regular cans and stuff. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, we really believe that it's important to distribute the healthiest food possible to people. Traditional food banking has really been composed of boxes and cans, but over the last several years, we've been moving away from that to a great extent. And now approximately half of the food that we distribute is perishable. In fact, I believe it's a little over half of the food that we distribute is perishable. So that's either produce or meat or dairy products. And we're really pleased about that because it's healthier for people. And people need to be healthy in order to keep themselves well, especially at a time like this. Keeping your immune system strong is just so important. And having some fresh produce available is really helpful in that effort.
And I've got to imagine that partnership, with local farms, keeping them going, that's got to be great too.
Yeah, we're really trying to work out with them how we can support them financially as well, because they do donate so much food to us each year. And we also purchase food from them each year. So we're talking with our farmers in the area to see how we can maintain that partnership and help them while they help us.
How many farms do you work with usually?
I don't know the exact answer to that, actually. I'm going to guess around 20, but that's really a guess.
And is that all in the Western Massachusetts area?
Yes, for the most part, we get a lot of our produce from the Western Mass area, and we do purchase some produce from other areas, but we really try to prioritize local produce as much as we possibly can.
All right, so going back to that, the bagged food that you're giving out to people. Some people might be a little bit nervous. They hear that it can live on surfaces. So what are you doing to make sure people are safe while handling the food that they're giving out?
Yeah, so like I said, our member agencies are being really careful with the food that they're distributing. They're sanitizing a lot, they're washing their hands a lot, they're wearing gloves while they're handling the food. So we're pretty confident about that. And the information that we've been getting from the CDC seems to indicate that the virus can't live for very long on cardboard or metal cans. It can be detected on those items for a while, but not in any concentration that is dangerous for people. That's our understanding. So, and there's no indication whatsoever that the virus can be passed through food itself. So we're pretty confident that people are going to be safe going to a pantry and getting the food that they need.
Great. And how can people help you or help your member agencies at this incredible time?
At this point in time, the most helpful thing that people can do is to donate money to either us or to a food pantry or a meal site or a shelter in their area. They can use that money to either purchase food at a store or to pay some of the fees at the food bank. And we can use that money at the food bank. We can turn every dollar into 4 meals. So it's a really good investment for people. Their money is very well used, and we can really use the help right now.
Thanks so much, Christina. All right, we'll be right back. You're watching 22 News in Focus. Okay, we've been talking about food insecurity and support programs for individuals and families in need of food with Christina Maxwell. She's the Director of Programs for the Food Bank of Western Massachusetts. Thank you again, Christina, for being on the program today. And that's all we have for today. Thanks to you for watching at home. If you missed any of this, you can watch it in full on our website, WWLP.com. From all of us here at 22 News, we hope you have a great day.